I thought to myself, Donald Trump isn't just a convicted felon. Donald Trump is a one-man crime wave.
Where was that slogan?
He's got more trials.
Jesus.
He's got more trials coming up.
Not prosecuting political rivals, by the way. The difference is, first of all, New York State is a state in the United States that the president of the United States doesn't have control over. I know if you're a Trump fan, you don't really know how any part of the government works, okay? If you want an example of somebody trying to say that a political opponent should be prosecuted by their sitting DOJ, you would look at Trump when he called into, what was it, Fox and Friends or whatever, and was saying like, oh, the DOJ needs to investigate, blah, 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 blah. Personally, I haven't heard I haven't heard Biden say that. But hey, listen, if you got clips of that, I'd be curious to see it.
For all his lies.
What did Alvin Bragg campaign on? First of all, I don't even know if that's true, actually. I wouldn't even believe that because I need to see the things because people, again, Trump people lie about basically everything, number one. But number two, Alvin Bragg is not Joe Biden. And Alvin Bragg is not related to Joe Biden. Alvin Bragg does not take orders from Joe Biden. So your statement has no bearing on reality whatsoever. Biden's DOJ is prosecuting him and Bragg worked for the Biden DOJ. Give me a break. The Biden's... No. Bye. Fuck me. I can't. I don't know if I can debate with the Trumples. I'm going to kill myself. You should, though. Do you believe that our president has a reasonable level of power and position within the U.S. government, or do you think it's too strong or too weak? I think that institutionally, as it's built, I think that there's like an appropriate amount of power. I think that there's two huge problems right now, though. I think one is that the inaction of Congress, the inability, well, at least before Biden, to get like legislation passed, means that we end up looking to the president and the Supreme Court to kind of do legislation for us. And then the second issue is that I feel like executive order powers have gotten a little bit out of control, I think. But I don't know if that's an issue with the office of the presidency or with the evaluation from the Supreme Court. Oh, God, fuck. I might just drop politics after this year. I don't know. I don't know if I can handle it. I'm sorry. Just reading the mind rot. Hold on. It's, okay, just as an aside, okay? It's a BS conviction, the most disgusting use and weaponization of the justice system. Just YouTube lawyers explaining the case. Any Trump fan that talks about how disgusting the conviction in New York was and then says that the conviction for Hunter Biden over drugs and guns was like some great noble thing. This is like the ultimate demonstration of absolutely no principles to anything, not even to guns. Like one of the few things that I thought conservatives had a principled attachment to for firearms. Like, holy shit, you guys are the cancer that is rotting this country. Please. I can't say anything wrong when I get banned from YouTube.
Making design errors is forgivable.
Is there a real chance the Dems swap out Biden last minute if he gets worse? I don't know how they still try him out there. The only way they would do that is if the difference in polling, if it were to slip enough, maybe, if it was like 40-60 or something. But other than that, I just think it's just way too risky. It's just a super risky proposition. Risky in that, like, I mean, it could work, but it also could be catastrophic, and everybody would... I don't care what Nate Silver says. Nate Silver has been ass blasted ever since he fucked up the last elections. Okay, I don't know if Nate Silver's commentary is even worth anything anymore. But it would just be it would be a super risky proposition. If the polls slide enough, like more than 10 points, then maybe. But other than that, it's just
failing to correct these errors and not taking accountability and responsibility for them.
The problem is that everybody thinks they've seen Gavin Newsom do well in like conversations, and they're like, this has to be the guy. Like, this has to be the one that we pick. And people just see like a debate performance, like, oh my God, he's got to be like, this is a Californian governor, okay? So you're already in like a kind of a weird territory, not like unwinnable, but then you have no idea. None of the people championing Newsom have any idea what his history is for performance in California, have any idea what people like or don't like about him already, have any idea about like any of his record. Like the idea that, the idea like, oh, we just swap it as a free win is because of his debate performance is so naive. That's not to say that if they did it, he would 100% lose. I don't know if anybody could predict that at this point. I'm just saying that there's a whole set of baggage there to be explored that I'm sure op research would have a field day with getting to like bring to light, over the next like couple months. That's all I'm saying, yeah.
Is the type of behavior you expect from a $300 HP laptop or an $80 smartphone. You don't expect that from a product that's premiumly priced. So let's go over all their old failures that were never addressed in that propaganda shit video. This is a video that I did 7 years ago. It's called The Horrible Truth About Apple.
Who's your second best candidate after Biden? I don't know. It might be Newsom. I'm not sure. I would have to dig into his history more. I just know that when I lived in California, I heard a lot of people complaining about like random things. But then again, that was a lot of that was last year when I lived in Huntington Beach. So maybe that radio just hated him because I think that's a bit more conservative. But I'm not shitting on Newsom. I think Newsom's fine. I'm just saying that it's really scary to pull out like a new candidate. Not Kamala. No. God, no.
Repeated engineering failures. And I provide a citation and I demonstrate on camera every single one.
Imagine believing Biden is the best candidate for your party. Biden is only the best candidate because he was the incumbent. You guys are supporting a convicted felon who lost a civil case on rape, okay? I'm sorry, but like there's no comparison, all right? Like, you are cheering on a person who was literally like attempting to overthrow the results of the last election. The thing is that Trump is such an unbelievably unhinged person, okay? That you can't even rattle off a tenth of the stuff that he's done without sounding deranged, because it seems unfathomable that a candidate that is so fascist could be supported by anybody in the United States of America, right? Like any one fact. Donald Trump, isn't he the guy before the Supreme Court right now who's trying to argue that presidents should have unlimited immunity from all criminal prosecution? Like, that's your candidate. So they could literally wheel Biden out in a fucking chair with an IV drip connected to him, okay? Pumping the adrenochrome. I don't even know what the fuck that is, right? And I would still say, I'll take that dude's cabinet over whatever the fuck Trump would do in office. 100%.
The MacBook Pro, the A1226.
What about people who are single issue voters and don't like Biden's position on topics like Second Amendment or abortion? I think that the strongest my guess would be, I don't know if there's polling data for this. My guess would be that the strongest single item issue that people would vote on would be abortion. And I'm pretty sure they're going to be weaponized more for Biden than they would be for Trump there. Because I think there are more people that feel strongly about protecting abortion than there are people that feel strongly about getting rid of abortion. That'd be my guess, but the numbers are probably closer than you think. But at Destiny, asking this in good faith, is it in the self-interest of people who make over $400K per year to vote for Biden? This would be my thought. Okay, maybe different people think about it differently. If you're making over $400,000, like your day-to-day bank account is not really that relevant for like your standard of living. Like, who cares? I feel like at that point, there are like 2, maybe 3 huge factors in your life. One is your success in whatever like career or business that you're in. 2 is going to be like the general health of your country. And then 3 is going to be the general well-being of your family. I feel like these are, past 400K, I don't know if you're voting or like just taxes anymore. I guess you could be. That seems really weird to me. That just seems weird to me. So I would look at for leadership, like who do I feel like is going to protect those 3 areas the most? In terms of like the general economic well-being of the country, I don't think Trump even has a coherent economic plan. Even neocons did a little bit better, but Trump is basically just copying, their playbook: cut taxes for the wealthy and then tariffs on China, and then hopefully that fixes things. And like that's it. And then in terms of like for the country, I think Donald Trump is a deeply un-American man. I think he's a deeply un-American person. And I don't think that he embodies any of the values that I would want in a president or for any citizen in my country. Somebody who doesn't respect rule of law, somebody who doesn't respect our institutions, somebody who doesn't believe in like America as like a leader for the world. And somebody who constantly, like more viciously than anybody that I remember in my lifetime, trying to pit Americans against each other. And somebody who goes along with the institutions, but somebody that would try to like steal the election. I can't believe I'm saying this. This feels so fucking stupid. But like this, it doesn't resemble my things at all. In terms of like safety, protection for family, it's kind of downstream from the other 2. I don't know. I guess if you care about abortion or whatever, or gun rights, these are where like the stronger opinions come in. I don't have strong opinions on either of those, but...
Gargle my fucking balls. Next one on the list. Let's go over
What are some of the policies Trump has mentioned wanting to do with his upcoming term if he wins a cause of concern? I don't think he's not like a policy-based guy. I don't know. I've heard him say a lot of random shit. Now he's talking about like tariffs and shit. I don't know what their plan is for immigration. I don't know what their plan is for infrastructure. Like they've spoken some things, but then it changes back and forth. But the thing is that conservatives just don't live in they don't like live in a policy-based or reality-based or fact-based world anymore. So when conservatives are voting, they're voting purely off of emotion, purely off of vibes. Like, I like Trump because he makes me feel happy and good, and my wee-wee gets big. Like, that's like the vote for Trump. Like, because if you were to push any just terminal TDS, zero substance, can't even leverage critique, on every single one of those 3 points earlier, I gave you subsections for why I think that the other president is better. Do you understand that when you say TDS, that's just you having like TDSDS, right? Then instead of me having Trump derangement syndrome, you have Trump derangement syndrome, where you think that every single criticism of Trump must just be coming from a deranged place. The reason why is because you can't fathom a world where somebody might possibly disagree with you on a particular thing because you don't even know where your ideas come from. You inherit all of them from the Tim Pools, the Dave Smiths, the Donald Trumps, the whatever like dog shit slurp media you're consuming.
Rather than screwing it into
The 2016 Tax and Jobs Act was pretty base. Trump wants it to continue. Biden said he will let it expire. Okay, if you believe that, that's fine, okay? However, you can't cry about deficit spending or you can't cry about a balanced budget because that's all that was. The tax cuts were good and that all Trump did was he gave more money to Americans by cutting tax receipts without cutting any spending in government, and he just deficit spent. Like, if you want to say that's good, I mean, like, in a way it is. I mean, yeah, anytime you pump more money into the economy, anytime you're printing more money and borrowing more heavily and not collecting any of it back in taxes, you're technically pumping the economy, yes. But I mean, like, yeah, no shit, Sherlock. Yeah, that's not an achievement, though. That's not anything. And traditionally, Republicans are always the ones that line up first to cry about deficit spending, borrowing too much, and the Federal Reserve. But when Donald Trump does it, it's like fucking amazing. Like, okay.
Why would we actually design things in
Do you see similarities between Trump and Netanyahu? Again, a lot of people getting triggered at me. My domestic time in Israel changed my perspective on this a lot. But maybe I'll see other things. Admittedly, I haven't dug too much domestically into Netanyahu, but I'm pretty sure, I'm going to repeat this again, Netanyahu is not an extreme far-right candidate. Netanyahu is a coalition builder who is cucking out to the far-right elements in his coalition. That's my impression right now of Netanyahu. I thought he was a far-right person. I don't think he's far-right. I think he's like center-right, and he's good at keeping a coalition together in the Knesset. And that's allowed him, that's forced him to cuck out to the more radical parts of his coalition, but that's it. So, like, in terms of who is better or worse, like Donald Trump, the thing is, it's hard to even plot Donald Trump on a right-left graph because he's gone like super populist, right, or fascist or whatever. I don't know. Does fascism go far right or far left? I guess when I think of like far right or far left, I think in terms of I'm thinking in terms of like on a liberal paradigm. I know people want to put fascism on the right and people want to put like communism or socialism on the left. But for me, these things just, if you're not liberal, you diverge completely. And I see more in common with illiberal people than I see with liberal, but like between liberal people, I guess. Somebody said, to be fair, Trump isn't extreme far right either policy-wise. Yeah, not really. Trump, I don't know. In terms of like, I don't know what the policies are. I don't think Trump is that far right when it comes to just policies, but in terms of like rhetoric and how he approaches like being a leader and what he thinks his responsibilities are and how he wants to rule, he's a fascist, right? Like in practice, or wants to be in practice as long as the institutions are butting against him, right? Examples of this, okay, for the guy who says I have TDS, examples of this would be doing things like mobilizing the military to go and do border policy because he can't get the votes in Congress for it, or undermining the electoral process because he thinks that he should be allowed to infinitely stall elections if he doesn't get the outcome he wants, or trying to actually defraud electors via the electorate scheme, or vicious personal attacks against every single person that betrays him, every single former person that's worked with him, the fact that all of them hate him, the fact that he comes out against all of these people and tries to come down and crush them, they don't work with him. An example of this might be him being unwilling to work with the two runoff candidates in Georgia that are now both Democrats because he was so ass mad that Ravensburger wouldn't help him steal the election. Examples of this might be what else? I was going to say the extreme isolationist attitude that he seems to want to take. I don't know if that's really fascist, though. There's more just populist in general. A far left person would do that as well. People talk about the weaponization of the courts. Him trying to beg his DOJ to lie for him was a pretty bad one. Him going on Fox News and calling for the DOJ to indict somebody or saying somebody should be indicted while he's sitting president, that's a bad look. What else? There's one other thing I'm thinking. Him firing people when he feels like they are when they're betraying him, in regards to I don't even know if Republicans know. He said he fired Comey because didn't he say he fired Comey because Comey was too public about the Hillary email thing, which was obviously not true. Him pardoning every single former official that worked with him, all of them, even the ones that obviously and clearly should not have been pardoned. Him saying that the Constitution should be suspended while he looks for voter fraud. Him saying that Americans that burn the flag should have their citizenship revoked. All of these things. These are all like fascist actions. Like any like two of these would be like, whoa, that's like red flags. Trump has all of these. And these are actions. These are like actions he's taken, not even like desires or wants or things. Well, are they actions taken? No. Some of them are desires he's expressed, but yeah. Anyway, yeah, it's like unhinged. Do you think Americans are unaware of these things? Why would such a huge chunk of Americans support him, given the facts you just listed? Well, because not every American is the same. Americans are different. Different Americans value different things. The people that support Trump based on the way that he makes them feel, which is true kind of every politician. But I'm sure there'll be some fucking anthropologist or somebody or some political scientist studies in the future. Because of, I don't know what the reason is. I don't know if it's religion or if it's whatever. Keep in mind, this is me as a left-leaning person. But like Republicans have slowly become more and more divergent from reality over time. The mainstream ones have become more and more divergent from reality over time. And I think Trump was like a big test of like, how far could you break that? Like, can you be completely like unfactual about everything? Like literally inventing the phrase, alternative facts? And will your party still go with you? And for the Republicans, every single person or a lot of Trump's base is willing to go with him off the ends of the earth, basically, on whatever he says. I didn't fuck star. Like, I'm a Biden supporter, but a major part of the incumbent advantage is that he has already survived op research. This, however, presupposes that there isn't a major scandal the incumbent had in office. Biden's political decline since 2020 is the equivalent of a massive October surprise. In my opinion, I, like you, would vote for Biden with brain and giant, but I think this is the issue that I don't think people understand, is that if you pick a new politician, if they have two minor scandals that people have never heard before, then that can dominate the news cycle. One thing that I don't think people realize, I've learned this in my time as being an internet person, right? Is that when you drip feed drama online, it's the same thing as what did Fauci say? Not lower the curve. Fuck. What was the thing that we always said when it came to what was the thing for the curve? What did he say? Flatten the curve. When you drip feed drama, you flatten the curve, okay? Let me explain this. Let's say that there is some dramatic event, okay? And let's say that our bottom axis is time. Okay, let's say that our bottom one is time. And let's say that our top one is public interest, okay? We'll do I, okay? When you drip feed drama, the left slider here. When you drip feed drama, let's say that time is passing, and then time passes, and then like a little bit gets drip fed, and people hear about it, and then a little bit more gets drip fed, and then let's say like, all of it comes out, and then eventually people start crying, right? This is what happens when you drip feed drama. Okay, like people will start to hear a little bit of it. They'll get like a little bit interested, and then they kind of, waxes and wanes, and then maybe like all of it comes out. It's like, okay. However, when drama is leaked in one big burst, okay, so nothing comes out, and then, whoa, I think that the interest around this is way higher, and then it goes away. Even though the drip fed drama can last longer, if you were to add up all of the different values here, right? Take all the area under the curve, there's way more interest generated here when everything comes out all at once, okay? All of this to say is that if somebody like Newsom had two itty-bitty minor, like scandalous things or whatever, things that looked like scandals, the fact that we haven't heard anything about it on the national stage ever, and then it would all be coming out and we'd have like 2 or 3 months or whatever to the election, would make it like, oh shit, now everybody's talking about this thing. That's the scary part, in my opinion. The Biden thing is, the Biden like senility thing has been a talking point for a long time. It's not new. Even if he does a bad performance like tonight, the question is in 1 or 2 or 3 weeks, if he does a bunch of speeches like this, will it really stick in people's minds as much? Probably not. Can you give one example of both of those in the streamer world? I'm kind of, but I think of things that aren't. No, I can't right now. I just know that it's true. You could argue the Dr. Disrespect stuff is kind of like that. That I think that it's hard to not fall into recentism bias. But if I had to trust my brain and not my emotions, like I know my emotions are my brain, I think that As much as people are talking about the Dr. Disrespect thing right now, the coverage when it initially happened was like 5 to 10 times more, would be my guess. Even though now we know a minor was involved and nobody knew anything back then. Back when Dr. Disrespect got banned, every single person was like, wait, what? Who? Dr. Disrespect got banned? Nobody knows what happened? What's going on? Everybody's posting. People making fun of Slasher. That event went on for like over a week, like weeks of like, how did the biggest stream, but what's going on? Oh my God, what's happening? Holy shit, that's fucking crazy. And then because that has been going on for like so long, and that's kind of people talking about, now like a thing has happened where it's like, there's another new thing. Oh my God, we actually found out it was like a minor, but like, I don't think people care as much as they would have if all of this would have come out at the same time, I think, yeah. Didn't Hillary lose because of the drip drama effect for the last few decades? Well, Hillary Clinton has just had, hold on, I'm just talking about how much people care about a particular thing in a particular moment in time, not like there are tons of different things. Like you could have somebody that has no drama at all leaked about them and they still lose an election because they're just not popular, right? Destiny seems quite detached from the mainstream conversations about Biden around this. Okay, true. Actually, the spaces on X that are talking about this are far more representative, yeah. Where did you live and what did you do from 2016 to 2020? How do you feel about the economy during those years? I don't even know. In Omaha and then in California? I'm a streamer. I'm rich, bro. I don't care how the economy's doing. What are you talking about? The economy doesn't affect rich people like that. We don't give a fuck. I don't know what you're talking about, dude. Also, the average person probably doesn't even know much about the economy. They know about their particular sector, especially during some time periods. There are some people in the economy that are doing really well while other people are getting totally fucked. It's just like every individual's engagement with the economy is relatively unique. Can you outline the Biden 2025 tax bill reform on capital gains and income tax increase on the wealthy, or are you uneducated on this bill? I haven't read much about it. I thought I'd heard that Biden wanted to turn capital gains into ordinary income. Fuck that shit. But there's no, as soon as I saw that though, I know that bill is never passing. There's no shot. That would be insane. I feel like you didn't really answer it. You don't think the functions behind capitalism have made it hard for the lower class to catch up? Do you believe in the dissolution of the middle class? I don't know if I do or not. It's hard to measure all of that. Like, as people maybe have gotten poorer, have left the middle class, the lower class standard of living has increased like pretty dramatically in the United States. So it's hard to measure like what's good and what's bad. Like, I think that there are winners and losers in the U.S. economy, and the winners need to do a better job at redistributing to the losers. But the problem is that it feels like both parties hate wealth just from different areas. Democrats like demonize wealthy people and people that make money, billionaires, right? What did Biden say? Nobody gives a fuck about policy. But to be honest, one of the most retarded fucking things Biden said yesterday was if we tax 1,000 billionaires in this country, we can raise some dumb fuck amount of money over the next 10 years. Like, what are you going to force them to sell the shares in their company? What do you mean you're going to what wealth taxes? What are you even talking about? It's like retarded, right? So Democrats have this huge problem with demonizing the fuck out of anybody that's wealthy, which is stupid. We should celebrate wealth. It's good. It's good in the United States when we've got successful business and we've got wealthy people. We should all be happy about that. But then Republicans attack it from the other end where they're like, fuck poor people, okay? We got ours. Tax cut time. Get fucked, motherfucker. No welfare. Cut taxes for the rich, okay? Get rid of progressive taxation as much as possible. Like, bro, what the fuck? Like, when you're super ultra wealthy, okay, a few bumps in the tax percentage bracket doesn't really affect you that much. It just doesn't. It doesn't. And any wealthy person tells you differently is fucking lying to you, okay? Or they're a greedy, money hoarding dragon. Then go live in Soviet Russia. Fuck them, okay? If you got wealthy in the United States of America, you got wealthy because you exist in a country that has enabled you to grow that wealth, okay? It's a beautiful thing. It's an awesome thing. The opportunities and advantages that are afforded to you here, unlike any other place on earth. That's why so many people come here to build wealth and to build companies and to build businesses. If you make a lot of money, you should be able to give it back and help the people here, okay? It's not that big of an issue for you, all right? Not true. I don't feel that way at all. That's fine. No offense, my dude, but that's probably because you're poor. It's probably because you make $65,000 a year and you think that like, man, like, yeah, like I'm part of the wealthy and I think that tax cuts are blah, 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 blah. I'm telling you that when every wealthy person looks at you, okay, the retarded 40,000 a year earners championing tax cuts, they just laugh because they're like, okay, like Most of them aren't compensated in W-2 wages. They don't give a fuck. Most of your growth is happening in investment accounts that are subject to capital gains anyway. Most of them are being compensated, in ways that aren't W-2, in like options and shit. There's tons of different tax advantage vehicles for like the idea that like, oh God, the ordinary income bump. You've got like all these guys, okay, that are making mid to low five figures, like championing reduction of tax brackets for people making over 400,000. Like, bro, these people don't give a fuck about the I don't give a fuck about the federal tax bracket. Like, it's one of the least consequential things that I think about when it comes to making money. It's like, oh shit, what is my federal, although taxes do suck. Fuck! Oh yes, I love it. Where's just to go to put his hand on the back of my neck. Listen, I paid $700,000 in taxes last year, okay? And I'm telling you that whether or not the federal tax rate goes up or down, if you like, if I have to pay like $50K more or $50K less, it's like it's not making a huge difference in my fucking life. I don't give a fuck. Okay? It's not that big of a difference. It doesn't matter that much. But like people making like $50K a year, $60K a year will be screeching for like, it's just so dumb. But I mean, listen, if you want to do it. Did you just say 700K? Yeah, I lied. It was actually like 550K, I think. Or it might have been 600K. I don't know. I don't even remember. That's how inconsequential it is. I don't remember what I paid in federal taxes. If I want to invest more in my business, I invest more in my business. I don't even get taxed on it. It's a fucking write-off. And if I don't, then it goes into a fucking retirement account. Who the fuck cares? I'm not spending all my fucking money. I don't spend hardly any of my money. Do you have money set aside for your son's college? No, fuck him. He can get a scholarship, or he can get fucked. He can get bent, okay? How am I supposed to pay for my kid's college while I'm flying your mom out every weekend? I think Destiny's a fairly unique rich person. No, if anything, I'm a fairly fucked rich person. If anything, streamers get fucked harder than ordinary people because I don't have as many business expenses. A lot of my money is just ordinary tax fucked. There's not much I could do with it. If I owned like a real business where I could like reinvest or I could like capitalize it more, do something more, I would actually have ways to even further reduce my tax liability. But at Destiny, I constantly hear this, no one under 400K gets tax change. Shit, but people over 400K is small business owners, and that money gets invested back into their businesses. Okay, I'm going to make a guess right now. Can we look this up? Okay, let's look this up. I would be surprised if the average small business owner in the United States take-home pay is more than 100K a year. I would be surprised at that. Can we look this up? Average personal income, small business owner, United States. The average income for a small business owner in the U.S. is roughly $69,000 per year. I don't think that you guys, when you guys think of, okay, shit. When you guys think of a small business owner, fuck, you guys are so detached from the world of business, all right? You don't understand. You guys will think of like, oh, this guy owns a business. He's only got like 100 employees. That's like a small business. Bro, if you make it to 100 employees, you're like mid to low. That's insane. You have a 100 employee business. That's amazing. You're like, you've made it to the upper echelon of like employment in the United States, right? Small business is like, what, like 2 to 3 full-time and less than 10 total employees? That's like a small business, okay? People have like completely distorted conceptions of what a small business or what a business like is. Like in my opinion, if you have over 10 full-time employees, you've probably already cracked the top 1%, and that's amazing. If you have a small business and you employ over 10 people, that's 10 individuals, maybe 10 families worth of people who you are now providing so much good to the world that you can basically fund 10 different people's lives. That's awesome. It's amazing. 10 different people, full-time employee. I don't even mean that just from a moral standpoint, just from a financial standpoint. That's really awesome. You're doing a really good job. 10 full-time employees. It's amazing. But the, people are like, oh, like, yeah, the average small business owner, you know, this guy's only making like 500K. No, he doesn't, bro. The average small business owner is probably taking loans out against his 401K to capitalize his business in bad years. The average small business owner, okay, is probably cheating on his taxes because if he didn't, he wouldn't be able to afford the rent for, you know, whatever building he rents for his office, for the business that he has. The average small business owner is probably asking his neighbor if he can borrow his truck because the one broke down at the shop and they don't have the money in the business account to get it fixed. These are the average small business owners. People have this massively inflated idea of what it means to run a small business. It's not like what you think at all. It's not this idea of you walk into the office, you say hi to one of your 50 full-time employees, you march through to your 4 cubicles, you go to the back, you got accounting talk. Like, that's not what a small business is like. It's so much. 400K would be personal income. Reinvested money wouldn't be subject to Biden's tax hike. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you're increasing taxes on individual personal income, that's not taxing money that's going back into your business. If money is staying in the business, then it's not taxed anyway. It shouldn't be. It's a business expense. Although I have heard some weird schemes where people would want to tax things. Like any type of tax ever that's talking about like wealth, should always be a huge red flag. Wealth taxes are always, that's some like doomsday apocalypse shit. But I don't worry about wealth taxes because there's no shot that any of those will ever pass because it would literally be doomsday shit. It'll never happen. It will never happen in the United States of America. It will never, hold on, quote me on this. It will never happen in the US of A that a wealth tax is passed. It will never happen, okay? Okay, quote me there so that if it happens in